Okay, so everyone, welcome to Breslov Efrat here at Shira, David Baruch Hashem, and it's Erev Shavuos. Today's the day of Malchus, Shabbat Malchus, the day we've been waiting for, right? To really feel the Malchus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we always learn this Malchus is bepeh. So how do we really coronate the king with our speech, right? Coronating the king, saying the right thing. So let's see what Frisch has to say today. Amazing. He brings down his Yazid Hagdama to the day, right? Because today's this is the final day, so we have to have a little introduction. And he brings down from the Sefer of Avodas Yisrael. He says it's brought down from Chazal. Okay, kishaloi also tshuva v'lo ha'yer es atzmai take betchilas Sefira Saimer. If a person didn't do tshuva and he didn't awaken himself when he started Sefira, right? It's Pesach, remember? It was a couple of weeks ago, right? Right? 7 weeks ago, right?
7 weeks.
7 weeks ago, right? Unbelievable, right? Way to go. Right? But it's 7 weeks, right? Exactly 7 weeks from, right?
Well,
it was 50
days,
50 nights. Yeah, right. It was 50 nights. We made the Seder, right? It was the Leil Seder, Chag HaKadosh, right? But if a person didn't get a chance to do tshuva until then, so we would think a person, like we always learn, he'll throw in the towel. I didn't do it the first day, so he'll throw in the towel, right? Right? Listen, I missed it. I'll try again next year. Right, he came to Chesed Shebechesed, right? And he was still, a little drunk from the Arbakaisis, right? Especially the guys in Chutz La'aretz, right? A lot of people have the minig on the second night to count during the Seder, right? Yeah. No, I understand. Right? So the guy wasn't thinking about the tshuva, let's say. I just want to tell you a quick story. It's a beautiful little story in Breslov that we tell over, actually, for the Seder. And it fits into today. I'll tell you why. Because Reb Nosson actually says 40 days before Purim, we're already supposed to get ready for this day. Right? We start to say then Hatzileni miklipas Haman Amalek v'karveni the kedushas Mordechai ve'Esther. 40 days before Purim. Right? So there was an avrech. There was a young man that was sitting at his seder with his wife. I don't know if you ever heard this story, but it's a most beautiful story. He's sitting at the Seder with his wife, and they finish the Seder. And the minhag is that you say Shira Shirim after the Seder, right? A lot of people have their minhag, right, to say Shira Shirim. Okay. But he had a little strong wine. Maybe he didn't dilute it enough, right? And he walked over to his bookshelf to take it out, and he said, he saw Megillas Esther. And he said, Oy vey, it's Purim. I didn't read the Megillah yet. Now that's why I'm bringing this, because I was saying over here. Okay, listen. Wait, hold on. So he takes out the thing. Okay, he starts reading. Right, he starts reading the Megillah. Okay, good. In Shemayim, there's a big rush going on. There's a big tumult going on in Shemayim. What's going on? They say that the gates of Gan Eden are closed. They close a certain time. And then whatever neshamas were stuck outside, they have to wait till the gates are open again. Right? Here there was a neshama. He was the next neshama that was in line. And it's told over that when we read the Megillah, the gates in Shemayim are all open. All the neshamas can come in. Everything's gishmak. It's givaldik. So this neshama says, wait a second, it's Purim. It's Purim. Let me in. And in Shemayim they say, what do you mean? It's not Purim. This guy he's drunk. He's reading the Megillah. It's not Purim now. It's Pesach. So he says, no. I want to go to a din Torah, to the Rebbeinu Shalom. No, this is not right. It's Purim. There's reading the Megillah. It's Purim. I want to come in. So they go to a din Torah. They go to the Rebbeinu Shalom, and the Rebbeinu Shalom says, we'll leave it up to this Avrech. If he says it's Purim and he lets you in, so then you can go in. So they sent the neshama down into the world, and he went and he knocked on the door of this Avrech. This guy's sitting and reading his Megillah. Next thing you know, some neshama comes to visit him, and the neshama starts to cry to him. He says, I need to go into Gan Eden, and I need permission from you because you're reading the Megillah. So he said, of course I grant you permission. Could you imagine this guy, right? He had his wine, and then he's sitting there reading his Megillah. He thinks it's Purim, and the next thing you know, he gets a knock on the door, right? Amazing, mamish amazing, right? Unbelievable story.
Some Seder night.
That's a Seder night, right?
Yeah.
That's the Seder night.
It sounds, it fell into my head. It's like emotional, because who does that Avrech end up being? He ends up being, because who do you let in the door on Pesach night?
Elanovi, yeah.
He gets Gula.
Yeah. He brings the school. Yeah. So it's like, so we came there because again, if the person didn't start to do tshuva, because the whole thing of Sefira is to bring us back, right? We're shedding off the 49 levels of impurity, and we're enclothing ourselves with the 49 levels of purity. That's what we're trying to do during Sefira. Each day we shed off one of the 49 levels of impurity. We put on a level of purity, right? So if a person learned that, and he thinks, okay, well, I'm not in the program, right? Because I missed the first day, I missed the second day, the third, whatever it is, right? I missed the whole 2 weeks, right? So what does he do, right? So look what he says now. Lo yoyim she'ein li oy tikva. The person shouldn't say, hey, there's no hope for me. He should never say that. Ella ad mimachras hashabos Shvias Tispru, because it says you can count all the way to the morning of the seventh week. Tispru, you can count. Tispru, you can count. Ratzalayma kol zman sheyesh afilu yoyim echad me'asfira Tispru. So that means any time if there's even 1 day left in the Sefira, which is now, it's still the day. Right now it's 49. We're in the day. It's 49. Right now it's 49. Unbelievable.
I don't know what you said.
Okay, you're able to illuminate all the 50 days and bring light into all the days with tshuva. Tshuva can fix anything. And the whole point is tshuva. That's what this whole thing's all about, is tshuva. Right? Who else would think you're supposed to talk about tshuva on Erev Shavuos, right? Everyone's talking about the cheesecake and all this stuff, right? No, we're talking about tshuva. Huh? Ice cream, or whatever. Yes, these important things, right? No, but we heard the whole thing is about tshuva. That's really what it's all about, to get us ready to be makabel the Torah, right? To get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like we're learning in Likutey Halachos, right? We're learning about the whole Akmumi Yeshebelev, to clean it up, right? That's the whole idea. It's all about tshuva.
And then he's going to blow all that chametz out of us.
There you go. That's right. When we're going to read about the Torah, the Kol Shofar was Chazak Mer, right? Mm-hmm. The Kol Shofar, right? Unbelievable, right? When we were getting the Torah, there was the Shofar going. You ever wondered why there was a shofar going?
I've always wondered. I never figured it out.
But now you understand, right? Hashem wanted to clean up and straighten out our hearts, so we can get the Torah straight in. Unbelievable idea. Unbelievable. Okay, anyway, he says, Yitain now ben adam lokim. Yitain adam aliba ki kidei she yiska lekabel all malchus shemayim shleima. If a person wants to mamish be mekabel all malchus shemayim, he wants to take on the service of Hashem, the yoke of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Truly, he really wants to be an Eved Hashem. Shemidas hamalchus tishpia olav es hashefa. Right, because the whole midah malchus brings on to a person is mashpia to the person shefa, right? Malchus, because malchus is the lowest one, but malchus is encompassing everything. So malchus is what's giving the shefa. Okay, okay. Yesh loy lechivin b'chol avaydasei bechlal behamlachasei. So we learned yesterday the whole idea that everybody has the neshama, right? Everybody has the neshama, the yesod. That's what we were learning about yesterday, right? And to understand that everyone has that neshama, and to see the beauty in each and every person, right? To see that beauty, and that's the malchus. That's of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's the malchusay b'chol mamshala. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is really the melech over everybody in the world. Unfortunately, they don't know it yet. They don't know it yet, but the more right, they don't know it, right? They don't know, right? Everyone thinks that he's the right. King Charles thinks he's the king, right?
But Trump is the king.
He's the king, right? And Putin thinks he's the king, right? Everybody thinks, and that guy in Saudi Arabia thinks he's the king, right? Clowns.
They're messengers of the king.
Okay, all right. Yeah, al gufay bifrat hakol leman avodas Hashem yitbarach, all for the sake of the service of Hashem, v'loy lezulas, and not for anything else, just to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is where we want to take that on, and we really want to be mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's an unbelievable idea, right? Because we Rosh Hashanah is the other time that we're mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but now this is also another time to do it. See, here to coronate the king. To coronate. You see, the time when it's Rosh Hashanah and we coronate the king, we do it because of Yira, right? Because of Yira, we're afraid, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's the day of judgment, right? I'm on trial for my life here. So I understand, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're the Melech, you're the one that's going to decide my fate, right? So we understand that when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, we're a little bit serious about it. We take it seriously. But perhaps it's more important to take it seriously today, right? Because we know that when you do tshuva me'ahava, it's gadol yosem tshuva me'ira, right? Tshuva me'ahava is much greater than if you do tshuva because you're scared. If you do tshuva and you come back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through love, is much greater, right? And we learned that so many times, right? That the zidonius nasius kezuchuyos, right? The iniquities can be transformed into become into merits, right? Where they don't just get erased, right? Because we said, what's the problem with them just getting erased? The problem is that we have our time, right? Our time. We have time as our most precious commodity. So if what?
Opportunity cost.
Right, and our actual time, the time that we have in this world is our most precious commodity that we have. Limited time, right? It's limited and it's precious, right? Because it's limited, this makes it precious, right? Right. So anytime someone has to show him does an avera, so it's nice that he doesn't want to get punished for it and he'll get it erased. Okay, fine, but wait a second. What about that spot of time that you lost? Now there's a void space in that time that person did that avera, right? Yeah. But if the person can do tshuva me'ahav and he could turn that avera into a mitzvah, so now he just saved his time. He was marich his time. He lengthened his time now. Like we're going to learn in a few minutes in Likutey Halachos. We're learning the whole idea that you could lengthen your time, right? By doing that. It's an unbelievable idea that you don't want to just get rid of the avera. And most people think they want to get rid of the avera. Okay, listen. But wait a second, something much greater. Take back the time. Take back the time, make it into something positive. It's an amazing concept. This time, the whole tkufa of from Pesach to Shavuos is a time of ahava, right? The Gilui Ahava, HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows us His great love that He took us out of Mitzrayim, right? He took us out of Mitzrayim. We weren't worthy for it, right? He brought us to Har Sinai, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew all the trouble we're going to make for Him. He knew already, but He still took us out. He knew already what we were going to do. He knew this was going to be an egel. He knew the whole story. But He still took us out. Unbelievable. Okay, Nimsa Masig or Mashlam es Midas HaMalchus Ayidei Midas Malchus Atzma. So you can be Mashlam the Midah Malchus through Malchus, right? You use Malchus, you see the grandeur of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You recognize the Malchus in each person. You recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you use his Malchus to be Mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Use his, you understand? It's a fascinating thing. And again, we said also Malchus is Peh, right? So by speaking about it, by speaking about the Rebbe Shalom and the grandeur of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his coronation of this time, it's an amazing idea. Okay, now, so let's go. We have a lot to do in the other lesson also, but okay, here. He has a nice note in here that I'd like to say also here. Here, let's see Be'aver. Okay, let's go Be'aver on how do we mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu with our limbs, right? Because we want to be mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu with our limbs, so we go to Aver. Okay, the limbs. When you're found in the shul, right? You're in shul, right? You're in shul, Beis HaKnesses or Beis HaMedrash. It's the same idea. right? You're in a study hall, or you're in a prayer hall, right? Wherever you find yourself in, don't speak silliness, right? Hey, what's the scores of it last night? You know, how did they do, right? Who won what? You know, and all of that stuff. You talk about Yiras Hashem. You talk about the Dvar Halacha. You talk about something that's important, not mabekach, right? Befrat b'shas hatfilah, certainly so when we're middle davening, right? Take the tefillah, recognize you're in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? Oh, wow. Mamish, to recognize when we're davening HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Melech Malchei Amlochim, is standing in front of us, listening to what we're saying. He's waiting to hear what we have to say. Could you imagine that? And then the guy, one of the ones, and then that's why Shulchan Aruch says, Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Summit, right? To recognize, Hashem, you're always there with me. So he's trying to say it, and then the guy's in the middle of talking to David. Hey, what's going to tell me the latest stock tip, right? Hey. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will put it in your head the greatest. Don't worry about it. You don't need to ask him. He'll let you, if you daven the right way, you know, when you get your email, you get a thing, he'll send you a message, he'll send you a thing, you'll get it. Don't worry about it. You don't have to ask him during davening, right? I'm just giving you, a practical idea of what we're trying to say. Especially not to talk about the weather or something silly like that, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, b'shas tefillah. Okay, v'nitzrucha azhara zu b'ma'oid b'layla haba leil matan Torah. And we need this so much so tonight, which is leil matan Torah, right? So a lot of people don't realize. They think it's a time we're going to hang out. People prepare jokes and have maybe it's have a good time.
It's not that?
What? Yeah. No. I'm sorry. This is what the material we're learning here. It's not my idea, sir. She Yisrael Kedoshim Oiskim B'Torah Kol Halayla. That we stay up the whole night preparing ourselves. L'kashed es Hashchina. Right? We want to join. We want to show the way we want to adorn the Shechina. We want to adorn the Shechina. V'zoichim le'lavosa el Yehuda im Bala. All right, we're trying to make the whole idea of Shavuos is the whole idea is the chasna, right? I don't know. Did they make a chuppah in Shira David? I don't remember.
Yet?
On Shavuos.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, because I know where I grew up in all the Batei Midrashim, all the Shtiblach, they always have a chuppah, always a chuppah, always a beautiful chuppah right over the bima. We have Kabbalah Satari. It's like to say that we said that the Har Chagigis was over us. So it's like the Chuppah was over us. That was the Har Chagigis, the mountain was over us. Or there's some people say, well, Hashem said, if you don't accept the Torah, this is Hashem Kivaraschem. Okay, I understand. But on the other thing is, why was it holding up? Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted to be like we were in a Chuppah.
It's a nice reinterpretation.
Yeah, no, right. No, and then where it says in the Megillah, right, it says a kivu masha kiblu, right? Kiblu, right? So it's really kivu masha kiblu, because when it came to Purim, that's why we started with Purim, right? Because Purim is the time that we really accepted, because of the miracle of Purim, we really accepted the Torah for the Torah, because otherwise we say we were coerced. Right, we were coerced to accept the Torah. Right? We had to, but Purim, we mamish felt the love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right, how HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved us from Haman Hamali. Right, He saved us from the things. So we felt that, and we felt so compelled. We felt so in love with the Rebbe, and we accepted the Torah willingly. You understand? And this is this whole idea of Shavuos is, so it's a reenactment of the Kabbalah Torah that happened, but it's after now we have Purim. It's after the Purim, so it's a whole new accepting of the Torah in a new special way. Rabbeinu Bala Shem Tov HaKadosh again Aleinu Ki Kidei Liskos Leklal. What's the word? Lechalel. Ima Malchus HaKedusha B'Aliyasa. If you want to be included, right? If you want to be included in the Malchus and it's raising the raising of the Malchus. Tzrichen lizor me'od sheloi lahafsik b'divrei chol. Don't speak tonight, mundane things. Don't speak things of silliness. Try to say and learn Torah. the minhag is from the Arizal to say Tikkun Leil Shavuos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that, Ellie?
Sometimes I like to also go to Shiurim, so it's attention.
Well, no, but no. So they say if you say Tikkun Leil Shavuos, you're involved. Yeah. You don't have, and you see how much material you have to read.
I was going to say,
there's no way. There's no way you have anything time to say anything else. There's no time.
That's why it's attention.
There's no time. Right? It's a whole book.
Yeah, it's huge.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing, right? You go through Torah and Nevi'im, Ksuvim, right? You go through Mishnah, you go through Gemara, you go through even pieces of the Zohar. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating compilation. It's unbelievable. Mitchilas halimud balayla zeh ad achar kedushas keser shebemusaf. Right, because the whole thing is, what is the whole thing? Malchus Sheba Malchus. We're mamlech through Rabbi Yisrael. How do you crown the king? What did they do now? Why did we just have to see about this coronation in London? Right? What did they do? They put the king on there. Right. They put the crown on the king's head, right? Because that's the highest level, right? Keser is the highest level. Keter is the highest level. So when you come to kedusha, and you say Keser Yidnu L'cha. Right? We're giving you this crown. We're crowning you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's such a beautiful, when you understand what you're doing, right? When you get to the Kesser Yamamish crowning Hashem, right? They say there's a Malach Metatrin, and he's tying our words of Tefillah, he's tying it into crowns, right? Takes the Psukkah, the Zimri, takes all the beautiful Tefillahs, he ties in the crown, and Kesser, we give that crown to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Unbelievable. To understand a little bit what's going on behind the scenes in the next world that the Arizal taught us. It's fascinating. Va'al kein ashrei lechaisim es avaydasai b'ma shesipra b'yemei ha'omer ha'kedashim. And how wonderful it is to conclude, right? Lechaisim, to conclude your avodah from the whole 49 days of the counting. Shmiras piv, by watching our mouth, because again Malchus is peh, right? So you use the aver, which is the mouth. You use the aver, the mouth, and you use it to be mamlech to Rabbi Shalom by learning HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah, right? Because we said kutsha brichoy raisi v'Yisrael kulay chad, right? That we're all one unit. So by using the mouth, you could be mamlech HaKadosh Baruch v'nimsa mashlim es Ebra Malchus ayedei pulas HaMalchus through the action of Malchus itself. Fascinating. It's just unbelievable, right? And again, just to understand that the time is so precious. It's so short. The time is so short. By the time you finish the Suda, right? By the time you finish the Suda, you come to shul. You don't have that many hours. Right? They start davening ready 4:30. You want to go to mikvah, and and this. Really, it's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of time. The Yetzer Hara says, you got plenty of time. No, you don't have a lot of time. You got to get busy with it right away, and this way you'll be able to Mirz Hashem, be able to accomplish it. Okay. So then let's say Kinyan Torah Chazara al Kol HaKinyanim, right? You have to always do Chazara, right? This is the most important thing. If you want to be kind of Torah, right? How do you be kind of Torah? You have to study it again. Chazal tells us you're supposed to study your learning 101 times, right? The Gemara says it's not daima to someone that studies 100 times to 101 times. Right? That's what Chazal tells, right? It's not my idea. You learn something 100 times, it's not compared to someone that learned something 101 times. It's a whole different idea. It's a whole different learning, right? So the whole idea is, if you want to be kind of Torah, you have to do it. You have to do Chazara. It's all Chazara. And again, that's the thing that the Yetzer Hara bothers you the most, right? Hey, you know this already. Come on, why are you going to read it again? Why are you going to do it again? You know this. Go see something else. But really, if you want to be kind, you have to read it again and again and again and again and again. Okay, so it's really about the Chazara. Tam Nishlam Shevach LaBoirei Olam Baruch Hashem. So this was our project, Baruch Hashem, and we should be zeicha to be mekabel the Torah b'simcha b'ahava, and in a way that we really understand that we're being mamlech to Rebbeinu Shalom through ahava. That's a beautiful idea that comes out from the holy teachings that we have over here from this beautiful Sefer Efrat and Lechem. Rav Daniel Frisch Zatzal, right? That he brought down all these great teachings from the Ariya Kadesh, from the Baal Shem, all the great tzaddikim. He made this beautiful compilation to help us understand really what are these days. I don't think we did it justice, but we did what we could do. We did what we could do on whatever level it is, and in Mitzvah Hashem we'll do this again and again and again. Like we said, but the whole idea is Chazara, and we'll get better at it, and we'll get better and better at it. Okay, Be'ez Hashem. Okay, Shkoya. Okay. All right, so now to Likutey Halachos Baruch Hashem. Wow. So we're in Hilchos Tefillin, right? Baruch Hashem, we're in Hilchos Tefillin, and we're in Halacha Hey, and we're in the middle of Hey. Hey. Amarav Hey, right? Right, we do Shemus at Tzadikim, right? There was a tzaddik called Amarav Hey, right? Baruch Hashem. Okay. That's how I try to remember these things. Like when I learn, I always try to put the hey. Yeah. So okay, anyway, that's my silliness. Okay, anyway. So we're in the middle of this idea. We were learning this beautiful idea, the concept of recognizing that every moment is special, and every moment we're new. Every moment, everything is a new beginning. Right? We gave the example of Rabbi Nachman that he would say over some most beautiful, illustrious teaching, and a moment later he would say, "I don't know anything. I want to be a yid." And Rabbi Nosson would say to him, "But Rabbi, why do you just?" He says, "But that was then. Now it's another moment. Now I have to come up again. This is a new moment. I'm a new person now." But mamish, to live in that way, to understand that I'm mamish a new person right now, and I have to start again, and I have to do that with that same vigor and that same curiousness, right? I have to start again, mamish brand new. Can you imagine? He gave over this beautiful teaching, and the next thing you know, I don't know, I have to start again. Mm-hmm. But he lived that way, mamish. Mm-hmm. He lived that way, mamish, because he recognized that every moment when mamish knew. Every moment, he mamish lived every moment we're new. Okay, so now we're up to here. V'ze'ika achiyas be'emes. How are you going to find it, Ellie? We have a little bit to do here. Let's see how we can help you find it. We started. You'll find it. I'll start reading. Okay. The whole point is to always begin again. You found it? Very good. The whole idea is to always has to be chodesh. Everything has to be new. Like the Yom Tov of Shavuos that we have now. Because we brought the Bikurim, right? The first fruits, right? New. It always has to be new, fresh. Every day is new. It's a new beginning. It's everything new. That's true life. When we live our life in that way, that it's all new, and it's not, these tefillin again, this again. No, I never wore these tefillin before. I never wore them before. Wow, look at me, see how beautiful they are. Let me see how, I'm curious, what do they look like? No, really, I'm just giving you an example. The tzitzis, look at the tzitzis, see all the beautiful wines and the nuts, all the things we learned about. Unbelievable, new, it's new. Kamasha Kosov, as it says, Hu chayecha va'ika b'avodas Hashem. It's your life, what does that mean? That the whole idea is to listen to the call Lishmaya b'kolei u'ledavka by right kihu chayecha v'orech yamecha. The whole idea. This is how we can have the lengthening of our days. Right? We gave the example that someone can live a life down over here for 120 years, and he comes up in the Shemayim. They'll say, hey, you only lived 2 days. And they'll say, what do you mean? I lived 120 years. No, but you only lived 2 days of real Avodas Hashem. Of all your 120 years, you only put in 2 days. Yeah. It's scary, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're learning, so we understand that. That's what we keep understanding, that all the things that we do all day, we have to turn it into Avodas Hashem. right? When we're doing our work, right? Eli, you're an attorney, right? So when you do your legal work, you're doing that. Why? So you can help people. You're doing that in order to make a living, so you can earn the money in an honest way, so you can buy the things that your family needs. You can give tzedakah. You can support the community. You can do what you have to do. And so then the whole idea of the working is mamash and ma'aseh mitzvah. That's what we're learning, right? The whole idea, you take anything you're doing and you make it into a ma'aseh mitzvah. Okay, and always do it mamish again mechodash. It has to be new. Don't fall to the zikna, the old age of the sitra acha. The guy says, "Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm so this, I'm so that." Right?
Where is it that we call him Chsil Zaken?
Yeah. His Chsil and his Zaken. Right. He's the Chsil. He's the fool. But we only if we know, only if we learn, right? Otherwise, we think, hey, he's right. Right? He's right. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't. Can't is only in the mind. Right? It's only in the mind. Really, if a person believes he can, he will. Right? It's all like we keep learning about the koyach hamedama. It's all that koyach hamedama, what our imagination forces us to believe. He wants us to believe that it's like this, it's like that, and the person starts to, all of that stuff all comes from the koyach hamedama. Right? We keep learning. And where does that come from? The zikna shel sitra acha. He wants us to be old. He wants us to be old. That's it. But we don't have to fall. Don't make my avodas Hashem old. My avodas Hashem has to be new, and it has to be like we said. You know, if you ever you have the opportunity to be with grandchildren, your own children, toddlers, right? Go watch them, right? Go watch them. How curious they are, right? Sometimes it drives us crazy, right? Some people, it drives them crazy, right? They're opening up all drawers. They're opening up everything. They want to see. They're curious, right? So we're learning. That's what we're supposed to be like that. We're supposed to be like that Yannick, like that. When I open my Sefer, when I open my Torah, when I'm learning Torah, I learn it in that way. I'm curious. What am I going to find today? What treasures am I going to discover here today? With a newness, a freshness. Oh, wow. You shouldn't be like a zaken and a rogil, right? You shouldn't be like a guy that, I know this already, I learned this already, I'm not interested in, right? No, don't do that, right? K'moshe, here's Rabbeinu Zal, as Rabbeinu Zal taught, he warned us so many times, but you can't be a zaken where? Not that you shouldn't be old. He doesn't want you to die young, chas v'shalom. No, don't be zaken b'data in your mind. Your mind has to be young. Yeah, you can be Mitzvah Hashem. You'll be 120 years. Okay, Mitzvah Hashem, right? And weiter. Why not? Right? Why not? But again, keep the mind young. The mind has to be young. Hein tzaddik zaken, hein chosid zaken. Whether the person's a tzaddik zaken, you can't be a tzaddik that's a zaken. Don't be a chassid that's a zaken, right? Zaken ain't no type. Zaken old is not good. You have to be new. Your approach in life has to always be new, fresh. That's written in he has it in Sichas Haran in lesson 51, and that's the Sefer of Wisdom, right? In BRI, if you want to look at the Sefer, what? You want to say something?
I have a question.
Okay.
And it has to do with, I personally have the experience of having my emotional age not match my physical age. Mm-hmm. Is there something in Likutey Halachos or in the Torah that talks about your emotional age and matching your physical age, or?
No, we're not supposed to match our emotional age to our physical age. We're trying to say that our physical age should have nothing to do with our emotions.
Like this whole piece is about separating those two things.
Separating the two. I may be physically old, but my approach to life is new.
Right, I understand that.
I may have my limitations. I know as a guy may have trouble walking, he may have whatever it is. Okay, I understand that. But again, the mind can be sharp. The mind can be curious.
They don't use it. They don't talk in terms of emotion per se, But this is exactly the point. Everybody says, I wasn't born yesterday. You were born 5 minutes ago.
You're just born now, right now.
Right? And everything is supposed to be fresh.
I understand, and I'm not really explaining what I'm not getting.
So
across
please,
what you brought
so
up.
take your time. Okay,
It'd be
okay.
Very personal, but I had a therapist that had me come to the realization that when I was somewhere in my 20s or whatever, emotionally I was 2.
But in therapy land,
Yeah, they're going back.
This is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right? They say you're disconnected. You're not as mature as you should be.
Right.
But that's not what this is talking about.
No.
I know
This
that's
is
not
the
what
opposite.
he's talking about.
Right.
I know this is not what he's talking about.
Right.
But what I'm wondering about, is there something in Torah that talks about, what if I don't know, you don't grow up, so you're stuck at 2 years old in some way, in terms of your behaviors and
The mentality. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's teaching us how to develop and nurture our mentality in a positive way. That's the whole point of the lesson. That our whole mentality, our whole outlook, our whole approach of life has to be with that vigor, with that freshness.
Right, but what if I'm just too self-centered to even think about that.
Okay, so we have to. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're learning. So we have to think about it. Let's think about what we're trying to say. And those, can you understand that you're a new person right now? Can you relate to that? You can relate to that. Can you relate to that?
Yes.
You have to work on it. It's not. You have to really work on that. That's something that takes time to work on, to recognize. What does that mean? I am not what they told me all these years. I'm the same old guy. No, I'm not the same. I'm a new guy right now. I'm new. You're new right now. It has nothing to do with how you were 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
Or 40 years ago, or 50 years ago.
And however, if I'm acting like a 2-year-old today, that is me today.
Okay.
And I may be a new 2-year-old today.
Okay, but he wants you to be the 2-year-old, like we keep saying, the toddler, which you use the positive things of a toddler. The same way, not to be mischievous like a toddler. Toddlers are also mischievous, right? Right. They do that also. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the way the youngster, the way the toddler is so curious about life. He's so curious about things. He's trying to discover new things.
That way of therapy is a nice shorthand, right? It's a nice shorthand.
No, and maybe I don't really get how this could have gotten me to get me out of that place where I was. Maybe I can't relate to how this could have gotten me out of that place.
But it can redeem you from that. It can.
I mean, because even though
You
that
just,
may be
again,
therapy,
the
it did
ego.
move me- I did get moved forward.
Not discounting it. It's a valuable thing, but the notations that it uses and the shorthands that it uses can also lock you into a certain way of thinking.
Yeah.
It keeps bringing you back to that.
Okay. We'll continue this. I'm just.
Yeah.
It's just
You have to
working my
develop it.
brain.
You have to develop it. I'm glad you bring it out, because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking the same thing. So it's wonderful. Thank you. No. But again, so the Rebbe wants us to believe, again, like the rabbi said, Rabbi Nachman said, he gave over this teaching that was the deepest of the deepest teaching. And the next minute he said, I don't know anything.
I don't know anything, right?
Well, what do you mean, Rabbi? What are you, crazy? Someone would have looked at the rabbi and said, you're crazy, Rabbi. What do you mean you don't know anything? Look what you just said. I recorded it. Look, hell, I listened to it. Listen to what you just said. He said, I'm not interested in that. That was then.
That was then.
Wait, that was then. And that's something so positive. That was something but he wasn't interested in it. So the Yetzer Hara wants us to look at things that were not so maybe positive and focus on that. So here he was giving you the example. Here, look how wonderful that was, but still don't pay attention to it, because now it's new.
Now it's new from today.
Did you?
Huh?
Did you?
Right? I mean, that's. I think this is the whole point of the lesson. What Rabbi Nass is trying to teach us here, based on the story of the 7 beggars, where you had the Iver, the blind guy that was blind to things of the world, and he was a zaken, but he really wasn't zaken. Right? He was old, but I wasn't really old, and I'm blind, but I'm not really blind. Right? He was only blind to the nonsense of the lies of this world. He negated anything that was sheker of the world. But anything that was of truth, he saw and he agreed with, and he wanted it. And he gave the blessing to the chas and the kal. You should be like me. You should be old like me in my age. Be zocha to grow old like me, but have my outlook in life. Always carry this outlook in life that you're fresh, you're new.
And you're always, I guess, I'm always, there's something new going to come in today.
Exactly. That's the point.
Okay, that I get.
There's something brand new that never happened before, that never will happen again. And again, when you capture that time, you're marich today, you're lengthening your time. Because you're captioning it, right? Is that the right word to use? You're captioning it, and then this way you can be marich, that gets counted for that day.
So now I know why Rav Nachman could say what he said.
Yeah.
Because he knew there was so much more.
Exactly. And he's trying to teach us that now.
He's trying to teach that now, that there's always so much more.
Exactly.
Okay.
So forget about what was. Forget about that.
Yeah. Okay.
No. But again, during his bodhidus, you could spend your time when you're speaking to Rebbe. You could speak about those things,
right,
and work those things out. But as soon as you finish that, then you finish your therapy session with Hakadosh Baruch Hu, and you close it out.
Yeah.
And again, like we said, when you're doing your bodhidus, if you go to a place that makes you uncomfortable, that you feel you're distancing yourself from the Rebbe Shem, go away from that place, because the whole point of his bait is to bring you closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom. So perhaps it's something that you're not yet ready to deal with. So put that on the back burner. You'll go back to that another time when you're ready for it. You understand?
When
you're doing your isbodus, right? So let's say you're discussing what your therapist told you when you said when you were 2 years old, when you were 20, whatever it was, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Right? So if you're talking to Hashem about that, and you start getting depressed because of that. Wow, what is this? I was 20. I was thinking like I was 2. What was that guy telling me? What is this? And when I wasted all that time, what was I doing? Right? And if you see that it's bringing you down, so put that aside. Put that on the back burner and speak about something else in yours by this with Hashem. That'll lift you up.
Not something that's bringing us down.
No. So this is always supposed to bring you up. Lift you up. It's a lift you up.
That to the Sefira time you're talking about.
Yeah.
No time.
Yeah. That's the whole point of his bodhidus, right? The whole thing is to lift you up. Everything that we learn here is only to bring us closer to Hashem, to bring us to greater simcha, to have simcha sachayim. That's the whole point of all the lessons.
So I hope you don't mind. I'm stretching right now.
Is it stretch?
No. I'm thinking that rather than sitting down, we're having a shear. We should all be stretching.
Okay.
Wow. It's like I'm more alive. I'm more
You have to start again mechodash. You have to always start again mechodash. V'zeu ikra achayim arukim shel hazoken the kedusha shehu right. He was the beggar, the blind guy, haiver, right? Ki haya zoken mioid v'yanik mioid. He was both old and young at the same time. He was old in his age, physical age, but he was young in his old outlook and approach of life. Unbelievable way to look at life. Unbelievable, right? It's such a simcha I get from the words. It's just unbelievable, right?
Like always be curious.
Always be curious. Hainu shekol ma sheniskan v'yoyse nichla b'zikna the kedusha. The older you get, bring it into the zikna, the kedusha b'yoyse shu b'chinas atik ta'atikin. Right, that's the ancient to understand. Again, we're learning the deepest concepts over here. I mean, the deepest of the deepest. You know, really, the Rebbe is trying to teach us here, really, how to be successful in life. Really, it's unbelievable how to have that outlook in life, and not to walk around with a long face. You know, to walk around with a smile on your face, mamish, to be happy during the day.
Well, this is wild.
What?
No, this is wild. I'm thinking the older you are, the younger, like, the younger you are, the older you are, because when you go back, you go all the way back. Who do you become? Basically, Adam Harishon.
Yeah.
There was no history. There was
no history. Yes.
You are right there.
Right. So Eli, we learned about, you know, the Iver he recalled the eight people, the eight Zikanim, right? He was telling over, and then the great eagle. The great eagle gave a haskama to what he was saying. Do you remember that in the story? Yeah. Right? So what was he trying to say? He remembered back, just what you're saying, Eli. He remembered back when the tabra was cut, when the belly button, when he was cut. The next one remembered back when he was in his mother's womb with a ner doilik. Right? He remembered that they're learning Torah, and we said that when he was in his mother's womb, he was able to see Misayf Olam Ad Sofer, the same as Adam Arisha. Yeah. The same as Adam Arisha. He's in that same place of purity, right? In the mother's womb, he's in that same place of purity, just like Adam Rishon when he was just created. He had that purity before the sin, right? And then he said in the third guy, he was remember when his body was being formed. He was able to recall when the body was being formed. Fascinating, right? Right? And then we said again, the more purity the person works with, the more he can recall back to really realize where he came from. Where we came from, where we stem from. The next guy was able to remember when his mother was impregnated. Wow. Right? The moment of inception. Is that what you call it? The moment of inception. Conception. Excuse me. Okay, the moment of conception. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The moment of conception. What?
Yeah, it might be inception also.
Yeah. So are you saying that...
Wait, hold on. Let's go back. Yeah, let's just finish the thing, okay? And the next one, the fifth guy was able to remember what? When the seed was still in his father's mind.
You're a glimmer in your father's eye. Yeah.
Right? The seed was still in his father's mind, in the mayach of the father. And the next one was able to remember what? He was able to remember his nefesh, where his soul came from. The next one was able to remember ruach, where his spirit came from. And the next one was able to remember where the neshama came from. Right? And then we tied the four, why was it 8? Because the tefillin shel roish, I don't know if you were here, so I'll just review it. The tefillin shel roish has 4 compartments. There are 4 compartments. Neged the father, right? That's the Abba, right? Why is it the father? Because those are 4 compartments that are separated, right? When the seed was in the father's mind, that's something that it's not tangible. Right? It's in the mind. It's in the mayach. It's not tangible. The nefesh certainly is non-tangible. The ruach is not, and the sham is not tangible. So that's the father. But we said that when it came to the tefillin shel yad, the tefillin shel yad is 1 box. Why? Because the baby is developed and formed in the mother's womb. So that's why all the parashas are in 1 compartment. Because that's the whole guf. Is the mother. Unbelievable, right? You like that?
Yeah, very good.
It's fascinating. Why this is 4 this way, 4 that way, right? So that's what with what?
So I want to make sure I understand what you're saying here.
Yeah.
Is Rabbi Nachman saying that we have the potential to go really experience back that far? I mean,
yes.
I'm trying to think if this is like, this is how it works. Okay, that's great. But for me to remember,
who you are,
where do you stem from? Where do you? Yeah.
I could actually remember being developed and learning Torah and all that.
Yeah.
All right, how do I do that?
Purity. Right. The more pure a person works on his purity, the more he can remember, the more he can recall, because that'll bring him back again. It'll empower the person, right? Such memory empowers the person. It doesn't knock him down. It empowers him, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
When you remember where you came from, right?
I know nothing.
Right? We think back, our mothers, right? And the care, the nurture of our mother, right? And to recognize that, and just even to think back with that, right? To think back with that, right? And then to realize that we were in our mother's womb. Wow. Right? And that was the whole development. Unbelievable, right?
Yeah. What I'm trying to do is get rid of the 77 years of garbage that got in there.
Oh, don't worry. It's all good. It's all good. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the last day of Sefira, right? So we said it doesn't matter as long as you have a day, right? You can just come back. Don't worry about it. Today's the day. Just come back today. Forget it. Forget it. It's all gone. It's gone. Now you knew. Who cares? Who cares? It's back then. It doesn't matter. Now you're here. Now you're here, Baruch Hashem. You're an Israeli citizen. You live in Eretz Yisrael. Amazing, right?
Yeah, that's all new.
It's mamish new for you, right?
It's new and yet it's old.
It's old, yeah.
It's very old.
Yeah. Yeah, we came on the same plane. You know that, Ellie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. No. It's so amazing. Rabbi Kramer had given me, I just have to recall this. It's this story, I'm always amazed by it. He had given me David's number in 2020, or was it 2019, when was it? I don't remember when it was.
It was the year I didn't go to.
Right, it was the year you wanted to go, but it was closed and it was headache. It was it was the year with COVID, and it was very, very hard. So Rabbi Kramer gave me David's number. He says the guy lives somewhere in the Midwest. He told me he's a sweet guy. Try to call him up, see if you can help him. That's what he told me. He told me to call. Okay, so I called you, right? I think I sent you an email, right? I don't remember what it was. We spoke, maybe. Do you remember we spoke? Did we speak?
Yeah.
We did speak.
We spoke a few times.
Yeah, and then you were trying to get a ticket, and you were
talking about the bribe we had to pay.
Yeah.
We had to pay a bribe to get in, and I'm thinking,
you don't know about that. No. That was too complicated, right? No. So Ellie, no. So now listen to this. This is amazing. Okay, so he didn't wind up going, but okay, all right. But I got to meet David on the phone. We never met each other. And the next thing I know, we were in JFK. Waiting for our rescue flight with Nefesh B'Nefesh. We're being rescued, right? That was our rescue flight.
First flight.
That was the first flight that they allowed to come to Eretz Yisrael, right? During the COVID, we were rescued.
Yeah.
We don't even know how much we were rescued. We have no idea. We have no idea how we were rescued, right?
Like the Ethiopians.
No, but we get to the airport, and I see this Yid, and I say hello to him. He tells me his name. I say, wait a second. Where's it? You're David. Remember that?
Fantastic. That's color. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I remember that big room we were in there, all standing around waiting for.
We didn't know what we were going to do, right? We were met by the soldiers with their fingers on the trigger, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Get on the bus.
Right.
Yeah, when we got here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they just had riots with Israelis that rioted in the.
Listen, kolas koshes, mamish, right? All right. Anyway, okay, we got off the tangent. Okay, v'chol mash nichlo sham beyoser, hu haya yanik beyoser. The more he got, the more old the person got, the more young he got. In other words, he was able to recall back to those beautiful memories of where he started from, and to empower him in such a way. Okay, Hisig b'chol pam shadayin hu rochoik miyoid me Hashem yisbarach ki legdulasei ein cheker. Like we say in Asher, right? Legdulasei ein cheker. We can't investigate, search HaKadosh Baruch Hu's greatness, right? The more Torah I learn, the more I can understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But to really understand Hashem's greatness, I realize the more Torah I learn how great Hashem is, and how it's impossible for me to understand Hashem's greatness, right? Otherwise, people that don't study Torah, they think they know everything, right? They know all Torah, they know Hashem. I know what Hashem wants. I know I'm good friends with Hashem, right? Right? But when you start to learn Torah, you see how deep it is, and you see how you're getting closer. You see, wow, Hashem. You see the grandeur of Hashem. It's unbelievable.
I would say it maybe a little differently. They become an expert in the physical world.
Yeah.
How to make money, how to maximize and optimize the physical world, but not the spiritual world.
Okay.
That's what it made me think about. I don't know if that's.
Well, again, we're learning to take all of the physical and turn it spiritual.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
someone who has not learned Torah at all,
Right. So then he'll be an entrepreneur, right? And he'll be very motivated to earn his money or whatever he's going to do, and he'll chase that. Of course, we're going to chase something. So the
chase
question is,
something.
but the
We're
whole
gonna
thing
chase.
today is Malchus Sheba Malchus. The whole day today is to recognize I want to take on the Ol Malchus Shemayim. Because we know when we take on Ol Malchus Shemayim, Avirim all Derech Eretz, right? They take away. In other words, either the person has the all of Derech Eretz, where he's chasing his to get his next check or whatever he's doing, right? Or he could be studying and being an Eved Hashem, and then he'll see how Hashem brings him his money, how Hashem brings him everything. So the question is, where do you want to subscribe to?
There's a fascinating video I saw yesterday.
Oh, okay, shit.
Ashton Kutcher, it was done in Tel Aviv, I think, on Erev Shavuot. Crazy thing. Ashton Kutcher is telling how he's thinking about Rabbi Akiva, and he conflates it with a story, a Hasidic story, where Akiva gets to Shemayim and he says, like, his wife, he wants to be. He told Ashton, he told his Rebbe he wanted to be more like Rabbi Akiva, and his Rebbe said, "You don't want to be more like Rabbi Akiva. When you get to Shemayim, they're going to ask you, why weren't you Ashton Kutcher?"
There you go. Right? That's exactly right. The Chavis Chaim said that, right?
And then Ashton Kutcher said because he was talking to a bunch of entrepreneurs, "You don't want to be an entrepreneur like me. You want to be your own guy." And I was thinking, so it was great. He got the message, but he flipped it. He flipped it because he didn't know better, right? It was like he didn't realize.
He understood, right? But that's what we're learning, right? And they're not going to ask us why we weren't the Baal Shem Tov, why we weren't Rabbi Nachman. They'll ask you, why weren't you? What you could have accomplished.
Why wasn't Zusha Zusha?
Right. Well, that's what the Zushi. The Rebbe of Zushi. The Rebbe of Melech, his holy, illustrious brother, and Rebbe of Zushi.
He's crying. He said, "Why are you crying?"
I want to.
Why wasn't I me?
I'm trying to relate to seeing the light in that chair.
Okay.
I'm trying to. It's like so. I guess I'm so impure. I can't even relate to
No.
it.
Chas v'shalom. No.
No, I mean, why can't I see the light? I mean.
Listen, I'll tell you this. They say that it was the holy Vilna Gaon, right? When he was on his death, before he left the world, right? So he was able to see the beams. It said he saw the krushim, he saw the kuf, the shin, the reish, the yud, the mem. He saw the letters. He didn't see anymore. The beam. He saw the molecular makeup, which is really the letters. Right, we understand they tell us there's molecules, right? In the chair, there's molecules, there's all that. Right. But really, what is that? That's the makeup of the letters that make the chair what it is, the holiness that make it. That's what the molecules are. But you can't see them, right? You need a special microscope to see that, right? Right, so that shows you with a microscope, again, when you purify your eyes, right? What's a microscope? It's just focusing in. Right? Focusing in on something, right? So the more we purify our eyes, the more we can see spiritually. Right? Right? The more we right, like we say, V'loisa suru acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem ashatem zoinim acharei leman tizkiru. Right? What we just said, right? In Kriya Shema. In order for me to remember, I got to work on my eyes. Unbelievable. It's a basic translation of the words, right? It's a tight to the words. Right? Who rachoik me'yoyv me'Hashem yisbarach yidulosay ein chekev. Al kain kol ma shenichla bezikna the kedusha yosef. The more a person he falls into he puts himself in the zikna the kedusha. Right? When he gets old, but he understands that life is always new, and he understands the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I can't find HaKadosh Baruch Hu. L'dulosay ein chekev. When he understands that mamish ro v'hisik shadayin lehischel liyois klal. And that's how Rabbi Nachman did it. He understood. I understand a deeper teaching, but now I realize how far I am because that teaching is a drop in the bucket to really what it is.
Right.
So his deep teaching brought him to the realization of right? I don't understand you, Hashem, at all. So he mamish felt it.
I just think the word molecules, it's close to malchus. when you get to the molecular level, you already sing malchus.
You see the malchus in it, right?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's very fair. Wow, that's nice. Wow, Malchus, molecular. Malchus, okay.
My son will like that one.
Klaus, Zochel L'chaim Arukim, Shesham Nichlal HaZikna V'Ayankus Yachad. You can have the Zikna and the youth. You can have both. You can have both longevity and youth mixed together. And that's really what life is all about. I can't really explain to you this at all because, again, this is something you're going to either work on. I'm telling you, there's a concept like this. So if you want to take this, if you choose to accept the teaching, and you'll work on your purity, and you'll work on understanding this idea that I don't have to be old, I don't have to see things with that old approach. I can always have a new, fresh outlook in life, a new, fresh beginning in life, and that's really what it's all about. Can we go further for a few minutes? Yeah, okay. This is the idea of the kedusha of tefillin that it's coming from the zaken of the Eva. Like we said, like I explained to you just a few moments ago, right? We said the 8, right? The 4 compartments of the tefillin shel rosh. And then you have the 1 compartment of the tefillin shel yad. You have four passages in the tefillin shel rosh, and 4 passages of the tefillin shel yad, right on the arm, and then together you have the 8, right? And that's the zokein, which was the Iver. Okay. All right. Now, okay. Shehu shoyrish hatefillin. Of the moichin. That's the whole idea. The tefillin gives me my moyach. The tefillin can bring me this outlook and this approach on life. Sheim bechinas chayim, which is life. Bechinas v'atem b'adveikim adveikim b'Hashem Elokeichem chayim kulchem hayoim. How do you like that? Isn't that beautiful? V'atem hadveikim b'Hashem. Anyone that's going to be dovik to Hashem. Right, with Dovik to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we cling to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Chayim Kulchem Hayom. Wow. Shenemar Tefillin Kayadu, as it's known, it said on Tefillin, Kayadu, everyone knows this, right? Kayadu, I love.
What's Kulchem Hayom?
You have life all the day. Chayim Kulchem Hayom, right? All your days are full with life, right? Kayadu, right? Everyone knows it's all about Tefillin, right? I love Reb Nosson. You know, when I learned this from Reb Nosson, and we just learned right? So I realized from Reb Nosson, how can I recognize how great Hashem is? Well, I don't even understand how great Reb Nosson and Rabbi Nachman were. How can I understand how great Hashem is? I don't even understand. Look, he's telling me Kayadua. Right. What does that mean? Yeah. Everyone knows this.
As is known.
Yeah, in his circles, everyone knew this. This is like a common knowledge. Common knowledge, right? Kayadu is common knowledge, right? Right? I think that's the way you can translate. Okay, Kizeh ikra tefillin. That's the main thing of tefillin, which is the mayach. Kidei liskois hayadei mitzvahs tefillin liyos chiyas chodesh the kedusha lechadesh keneshe yomov. You can be like the eagle. In the story, it said that the great eagle gave his haskama on the Iver's interpretation of his interpretation. So why was it the eagle? Again, why an eagle? Right? You understand? We're developing the story now, because look at what he says now about an eagle. An eagle is lahaskel lechadesh kenesha yama. Right? We know that the eagle, the older the eagle gets, the eagle is always new. The eagle is always renewing itself. The eagle is always full of life to protect its family. Right? The eagle will it doesn't matter how old, how tired the eagle is. The eagle will come up with a new vigor, a new. What word would you like to use? I don't know. With a new, the eagle comes up with new life. New life, okay? Lahaska b'avodasa yizbarach b'chol pamei chodesh v'lo yipol lezikna the sitracha. Don't fall to the zikna of the sitracha shalei tichya loitiya avodasa be'einav ki yeshana. Your avodas Hashem should never seem old. It's new. It always has to be fresh. Ela chodesh mamash kilu lehischil me'olam, as if you never started at all. Ki be'emes afilu mishu tzadik gadol me'oid v'torach v'yoga shonim harbe b'vaydasa yizbarach. Even if someone is a tzaddik and he worked so many years, and he was toiling, and in his avodas Hashem, right? Afal pichein lefi chidush maseh bereishis. When it comes to maseh bereishis, where Hakadosh Baruch Hu is recreating everything again and new each day, b'chol yom adayin lo hischil klal. He never even started. That's how the tzaddik looks at his life. He never started. Ki Hashem is baruch oisich chadashis b'chol eis, because Hashem is making everything new every moment. Like we keep quoting, right? Every day HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes everything new creation. No day is compared to another day. Every day is unique, special by itself. Every single day is a unique, special day. And this day is here today, and it won't be here again. So what do I do? How can I make the best of my day today? Because Hashem is redoing His wonders, His newness, everything, every time. Right, that every day is not compared to the next day, and 1 hour and 1 moment is not compared to the next moment. Every moment is new. It's such a wonderful way to look at life, right?
On the practical side of it, it seems like what we mean by that is that there's continual, ongoing possibility of learning and knowing and becoming more aware of ourselves, aware of the universe, aware of God.
Yes.
And I'm saying that because it's not, when you say it's new, what does that new really mean? It means that there's like the
it's brand new. It's brand new. Nothing. I didn't do anything wrong at this moment. And what am I going to do with this moment now? It's like like the Tanya says. It's a klipas noga. The zman is a no. What am I going to do? Am I going to lift it up, or am I going to knock it down? What am I going to do?
Infinite possibility.
Infinite possibility.
So I'm sorry, this is something that popped into my head.
Okay.
Right. So this is a direct attack on that deist philosophy. The philosophy says that God was like a giant watchmaker and left the world, and it just continues ticking.
Oh,
and
no.
Dafka, this Indian of why do we use the analogy of a watchmaker? Because every minute is the same, and the direct opposite of that is God is directly creating every single.
He's making each tick. Yes.
Fresh, clean, new, and yes, the minute you tap into that, you're fresh.
You have endless possibilities. Endless
also
possibilities.
That we need to tap into that for ourselves.
Exactly.
It's like,
But that's what we're learning. This is what we're supposed to
I
do.
know what I'm saying is, I'm just trying to make it clear for me right now.
Yeah, okay.
When you speak in that way sometimes, that every moment's new and that God's creating all the time, and if we speak about God, it's like I'm creating all the time. I can't leave myself out of this.
No, you're part.
I have to. I'm
You're
part of it.
Yes.
And so that's what I.
You're
I'm
being
making it
recreated.
personal.
You're a new person.
Right.
You're new.
Grab and hold on tight.
B'chol rega v'rega nishtanim aliyos a'ilamos. Every single rega v'rega moments, they're all the highest of the high, if you will, if you allow them to. Misidran, if you can arrange them, umamidin, you can elevate them, and agosam b'shinuyim nifloim and nairim ad ein cheker. Right, really to understand this concept is something so remarkable. It's getting a little bit late now, and we have a lot of things to do. It's Erev Yom Tov, so I think we'll stop over here. Okay. Okay.
I have
Everybody.
figured out why.
Have a wonderful Yom Tov Chag Sameach.